The Horse Lord's Ire. Riding north from Eorl, the heroes crossed the Great West Road into a grassy sea of hills and grazing pasture. The Eastfold looked just as it did in the tapestries of Eorl and the Books of Kings, pleasant, pastoral, and vast. The riders bent their heads into the wind and urged their steeds onward, for they had received word from Galmad's scouts that an orc host had crossed the Anduin and begun marching toward the city of Eldberg. Worse yet, they seemed to be raiding horse farms on the way, strengthening their numbers with heavy war horses and butchering those who stood in their path. "I grow concerned," said one of the heroes. "Orcs assault the countryside just as wild men strike at the border." "Aye," said another. "The realm of the horse lords is caught between the forge and the fire." "We shall seek aid at Eldberg," said Queen Morwen. "Aemond is a marshal there. He is young and brash, but valiant. He will surely supply us with aid." "We may not have time," called one of the heroes. "Look ahead." He pointed towards a pillar of smoke, twisting in the distance. "That smoke may be from the kingly stables of Thengel himself," said Galmad. "Woe to any orc who would desecrate the descendants of the Mieras with rotten whip or rusted spur." Cresting a bald green hill, the heroes came upon a small orcish raiding party, its members tugging at the reins of two great horses. Turning to witness the clamor, one of the orcs shouted to the others, "Go get Thruck," he bellowed. "Thruck'll spike 'em dead." "We must have caught them on their way back to the main force," said Morwen. The captured horses were gorgeous, saddled for war, bodies strong and elegant in the light of morning. "Flinthoof! Brightmane!" called Galmad. "The king's own horses! But where's their liege, Felroth the Mighty?" The orc hefted his mass onto the stallion called Flinthoof. Brightmane, wild-eyed and bucking, jerked away from the orc and galloped for the hills. "Let us rout them," said one of the heroes. "For the blood of horses, for the horses of kings!" They gathered their weapons and prepared to charge. Down the hills and over the orcs they rode, coursing across the sunlit fields to battle. This quest uses the vast keyword. The vast keyword appears on some locations in this cycle and represents the large distances the players must travel when journeying from place to place within Rohan. Yeah, like trying to catch that blasted horse. Each location with the vast keyword is considered to be a vast location, with the following additional text. Travel. Each player must either exhaust a mount attachment or a hero they control, hence the reason why our decks have mounts like nobody's business. And they have a response. After placing progress on this location from questing successfully, even if this location is explored, place an additional progress on any vast location for each mount attachment the player controls. Nice. We have our setup here. Add stolen steeds to the staging area. Set Thruck, the mount objectives, and the 8 enemies from the orc host encounter set aside out of play. Shuffle the encounter deck. The first player reveals Flinthoof and Brightmane and adds them to the staging area. Then each other player discards cards from the encounter deck until a location or an enemy is discarded and adds it to the staging area. The Stolen Steeds objective card says mount objectives cannot be discarded or leave play. If a mount objective is not attached, a player must claim it and attach it to a hero they control. Forced, at the end of the round, add 1 progress to the main quest for each mount objective the players control, then raise each player's threat by 1 for each mount objective in play the players do not control. Here we have our 2 mounts, the Brightmane and Flinthoof. And I do want to mention right now, this is my 3rd time playing this quest. The first one I got brutalized, the second one I made a critical error. So let's try this a 3rd time, shall we? So the Brightmane here, the location or enemy guarding Brightmane is going to get +1 threat. And right now we're going to have a location that's going to be guarding Brightmane. For Flinthoof here, that's going to be guarded by an enemy. That enemy guarding Flinthoof gets +1 attack. Okay, so let's go ahead and start revealing cards. And we've got a location, the Humpbacked Downs, that will take care of Brightmane, and we'll put a 1 threat marker on that. So this location in the staging area is 3 threat right now because Brightmane has run into the Humpbacked Downs. Now we're looking for an enemy. That's not an enemy. Let's see, this is an enemy. We have our Saddle Slasher. Oh, and you guys, I've got to say, all the enemies in this encounter set, their names are amazing. Absolutely amazing. This guy has archery, X. X is equal to 2 + 1 for each mount objective the players control. Well, we don't control any, so he will be at 2 attack, 2 health, and 2 defense. He's actually not terrible right now, but he is going to get +1 attack because he has this mount, so he'll have a total of 3 attacks. Let's put that on there for him. Finally, each other player reveals cards from the encounter deck until a location or an enemy is put into play. Okay, that's an encounter card. That's another encounter card. That's side quest. That's a location. Okay, so we're going to have the Endless Grasslands as well out in the staging area. 2 more threat. It's another vast location. At the end of the travel phase, if the active location is not vast, each player exhausts an ally they control. So if we look here, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 threat in the staging area. Our first player deck, just like the last 2 quests, will be our Gondorian deck. They have 29 total threat, 1 resource on each of our heroes, but Denethor starts with 2 additional, so he has 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 cards to start our starting hand. Oh, I love Angbor. The Envoy of Peligreer, that's good. Steward of Gondor, Sneak Attack, Armored Destrier, that's amazing. I really wanted a mount, so that's great. And Ancestral Armor. Yeah, it's going to be hard to say no to this hand. So I think we'll just keep this hand and let's draw our 7th one. We have Strength of Arms. Here's our Rohirrim deck. We have 29 starting threat as well. 1 resource for each hero. We have our 6 cards here. We have Gambling. I love Gambling. Oh, Need No Brook's Delay. We've got 2 of those. Heck yeah. The Escort from Endros, the Light-Footed Steed, and Firefoot. Yeah, I mean, these 2 cards can get us almost anything we want, so it's hard to say no to that hand too. Let's go ahead and draw, and we have a Test of Will. Okay, so that's our 7 cards. I'm realizing I don't think I read the backside of our quest card. We need to get a total of 6 progress on here. This stage cannot be defeated unless the players control 2 mount objectives, so we need to get a hold of those 2 mount objectives before we can move to quest card 2. Now let's go ahead and start the game, shall we? So obviously, first thing, Steward of Gondor. We'll then immediately exhaust it, flip these 2 around. Boromir has 3 resources, Denethor has 1. Then because of the scenario and those vast locations, we're going to need to exhaust mounts all the time. So I think putting the Armored Destrier here will move Boromir down to 1 resource instead of 3. But that way we can exhaust that when we travel to a vast location. And then I think for this round, let's go ahead and put out the Envoy of Peligreer. We can spend 2 resources. I'm going to spend these 2. That means Boromir's not going to give the +1 attack this round, but I think that's okay, because we can then give 1 resource to a noble character. I'm going to give it to Eomer. That means we're going to be able to grab 2 cards from our deck, from our top 10, and play them out on the board. It just feels super powerful, because then the other thing I'm going to do is have Denethor use his ability and give this resource over to LOTR. We're just going to help that Rohirrim deck out this round. Oh, and I need to not forget, we're going to increase our threat by 1 to 30 because we did play a Gondorian ally, and we'll draw a card. And we get the Veteran of Osgiliath. He's going to be amazing because our threat's going to fly up in this game. Looking at our Rohirrim's hand, we have so many options, it's ridiculous. I think the first thing we're going to do is put out Gambling. Gambling is going to allow us to spam that Escort of Edoras every round, because we can use them for questing and then exhaust Gambling to put them back into our hand and do it over and over again. So that's hard to say no to right at the beginning of the game. Then, as much as I want to put Firefoot on Eomer, I think instead we're going to do Need Brook's No Delay. So that's going to allow us to look at the top 10 cards of our deck, and we're going to be able to play 1 that costs 2 or less for free, 3 or less if it's unique. We'll go ahead and draw those top 10 cards. We have Windofila. Oh, here's the Horn of the Mark. Okay, Horn of the Mark is one of the ones I was looking for. The other one was the Golden Shield. I don't have that, but I'm definitely going to play the Horn of the Mark. It costs 0. Let's put that right on to Lothriel. Then I say, why the heck not? Let's do it a second time. So we're going to use that second resource thanks to the Gondorian deck, and we're going to look at the top 10 cards of our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's see which one we want to play. Do we have the shield? Okay, so we have the shield. We also have Theodwyn. Oh, the shield is only a 1 cost. Theodwyn we could play for free, and we could get another resource. Yeah, you know, I think this time, let's go ahead and play Theodwyn because the 2 questing is super helpful. And then it says here, after she enters play, either draw 1 card or add 1 resource to a noble hero's resource pool. I think I'm going to add 1 because I've got a Test of Will just in case. Let's put it on to Thangol. Oh, and you know what? We're not even going to use that for the Test of Will. We're going to use it for a mount. So we have a mount over here, the Light-Footed Steed. We're going to spend that 1, and we're going to put that onto Thengel as well. That, to me, it feels like a solid first turn. We've got lots of good stuff here. For questing this round, we'll just send Ingold for 3 plus 1 here from our envoy, so that's 4. We'll add Theodwyn for 5, 6, LOTR for 7, 8, 9, and Thengel for 10, 11, 12, plus we'll do the escort from Edoras from our hand, thanks to Lothriel. So that's 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 total questing. 16 to 7. Let's draw our first card, and we have When Revealed. Exhaust all restricted attachments the players control. Oh, if no restricted attachments were exhausted this way, ride through the night gains surge. Okay, I think we have 2 restricted... Actually, we have lots of restricted attachments. We have to exhaust Armored Destrier, the Horn, and the Light-Footed Steed. Oh, that's terrible. Well, I will definitely say we were not ready for that one. Okay, second card. We have the Wild Country. Okay, that's just adding 1 threat to the staging area. Oh, a Doomed 1, though. That will push up our Rohirrim deck to 30, and our Gondorian deck will move themselves up to 31. Looking here, we have a total threat of 1 plus 3, which is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 to our 16 means we placed 8 progress. Wow, I might have gone a little too hard. We can only put 6 on there. So, well, I mean, we can put the 8 in case there's something that we can use, but we have progressed through quest card 1. However, we do not have enough objectives. After questing successfully, we'll go ahead and exhaust Gambling because we would have to discard or shuffle in Escort from Edoras into our deck, but instead we'll discard it. Then we'll be able to put it into our hand because of Gambling's effect. After a Rohirrim ally you control is discarded from play, exhaust Gambling to return that ally to your hand. But we still get to do Thengel's ability here. We get to look at the top 5 cards and put an ally into play exhausted. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to put Morwen Stillsheen. We need the healing. Let's now move to the travel phase, and I had this whole plan of being able to ready Thengel. We'd be able to take out that enemy in the staging area. Yeah, if we travel to any one of these 3 locations, they're vast. And if you look here, it states that each player must either exhaust a mount attachment or a hero that they control in order for us to travel to a vast location. We each have a hero that we can exhaust, but that means we're not going to be able to take out that blasted enemy, which means we're going to have to deal with his archery. Ugh. So I definitely think we are going to travel to the Humpback Downs just because that has Bright Mane, and we want to obtain Bright Mane as soon as possible. So we will go ahead and travel there. And then at the end of the travel phase, since the location is vast, neither of these effects are going to happen. This means Boromir will have to be exhausted, and our only hero we can exhaust is Eomer. We'll then move to the encounter phase. We have our 1 enemy out here. He has 30 as his engagement cost. That means either of us is going to have to engage him. Our Gondorian deck will go ahead and engage the Saddle Slasher. And then moving to the beginning of the combat phase, we have to deal with the 2 archery. The 2 archery is going to be placed here on Ingold. Ingold has 2 points of damage. Then we have the Saddle Slasher attacking, so let's go ahead and get a Shadow card, and we'll grab that here. He's going to attack for X, which is equal to 2, plus the amount of objectives we have, which is none. I will defend over here with Denethor. He has 3 defense. Let's see what our Shadow effect is. We have raise your threat by 1 for each mount objective you control. Beautiful. We don't control any, so he deals 2 damage. We've got 3 defense. We're good. However, we have no one that can attack him. It's going to sit out here and hit us with his archery next round. So that will end our first round. Let's go ahead and refresh and start the next one. At the end of the round, add 1 progress to the main quest for each mount objective we control. That's none. Then we're going to have to increase our threat for every mount objective we don't control, which is 2, plus 1 threat for the end of the round. So we're going to have to each increase our threat by 3. So our Rohirrim deck is going to go to 33, and our Gondorian deck is going to go to 34 already after the first round. Then we're going to move the first player token over to the Rohirrim deck, and let's generate resources and draw cards. And we get Gandalf for our Gondorian deck, and the Muster of the Rohirrim for our Rohirrim deck. Our Rohirrim deck is the first player deck this round, and looking at our hand, I don't have anything that I want to play right now. I want to keep using our Escort from Edoras with Gambling. I don't have any other heroes, or I should say allies in our hand, so I think I'm just going to pass. However, on our Gondorian side, we're definitely going to do something. I don't think we need the Ancestral Armor yet. Instead, what I think I'm going to do is start with Angbor here. I'm going to spend 2 resources. We're going to spend both from Boromir, so we'll go down to 1 on Boromir. Angbor is out. We can increase our threat by 1 or spend a resource to draw a card. We're going to increase our threat. We're going to be risky. So that means we have to draw 1 card from our deck. And what we get is the Visionary Leadership. Do we need questing right now? Or do we need... Yeah, you know what? I've got enough resources. Let's do it. We're going to spend 2 resources to put the Visionary Leadership onto Boromir. Spend these 2, and I think we're good to go. We only have 3 threat in the staging area, so I don't want to overquest, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to do Thangol's ability, or his mount, I should say. So we're going to quest for 6 here, and then we'll add the escort from Edoras for a total of 10, and then let's do Theodwyn for 12. Let's just add Ingold for a total of 15. We'll start revealing our cards, and we have, oh boy, each player who controls more than 2 attachments, that would be our Gondorian deck, must discard 1 attachment they control if able, 2 instead if they control 5 or more. Ooh, do we want to deal with that? You know, I have a total of 3 Visionary Leaderships, and I totally forgot to count it anyways for Ingold, so let's go ahead and just discard this. Hopefully I can get another. So that was our first one. We were overburdened. I love that card. Actually, I hate it, but our Rain Ripper. When Rain Ripper attacks, deal it 2 additional shadow cards. You may attach a mount objective you control to the Rain Ripper as a guarded objective to cancel this effect. Ow. We quested for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have 9 progress. The biggest thing we needed was 6 to be able to get through this. So we've gotten 6. That means we have just obtained Brightmane. This one, it is restricted. The location, we don't have to worry about that one. But now the attached hero gets +1 willpower. I'm definitely going to put that on Lothriel. At the end of our quest phase, we'll have our Rohirrim shenanigans begin. First thing is, escort from Edoras, we're going to discard. Oh wait, Gamling's going to save it for us, put it back into our hand. But since we discarded a character from play, we will be able to ready Thangol because of his steed. We're also going to be able to do Thangol's ability, draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, play an ally for free. Oh, Gamling for additional defense. Oh my gosh, all of these are great, but I think I'm going to do Gamling. Or that's not Gamling, that's Hama. We're going to do Hama. Then what we can do is exhaust our horn to draw a card. Now let me quickly shuffle this up. Okay, let's just draw a card, and we have Elfhelm into our hand. Then the final thing I think we're going to do is use a Morwen here, and it says after a Rohirrim ally leaves play, exhaust her to heal 2 damage on a character. We're going to do that. The one advantage of playing this scenario 3 times is I know I don't want too many people with damage because of the final quest card. So I've healed up Ingold. Moving into that travel phase, we have 2 locations that we can travel to. Let's get rid of the 2 threat one, might as well. So we're going to travel here. That's Vast. Oh, I need to remember, when we quested successfully through this location because it was Vast, it says here as a response, after placing progress on the location from questing successfully, even if this location is explored, place an additional progress on any vast location for each mount attachment the players controlled. Now at that time when we quested successfully, we had 2 mounts, 1 on Denethor and 1 on Thangol. So we can place 2 progress on one of these vast locations. Let's do this one. So that means we can travel to this one, and we're going to have to exhaust a mount or a hero each. We'll exhaust Brightmane over here for the Rohirrim deck, and the Armored Destrier here for Denethor. We then only have 1 enemy in the staging area, this Rain Ripper. So let's go ahead and have our Rohirrim deck engage him. Let's now move into the combat phase. The first thing that's going to happen, we have archery. We now have archery of 3 because we control 1 mount objective. And this guy is a 3 defense, 3 health guy now. Ugh! So we're going to do 2 on Ingold, and let's do 1 on Boromir for the 3. Then we'll get 1 shadow card for our Saddle Slasher and 3 for our Rain Ripper. Oh, that's because I do not want him to take our mount objective. We'll then use Denethor to defend. He's getting attacked for 3. He has 3 defense. Yeah, I'm going to need to get that Ancestral Armor on him. Okay, no shadow effect. Beautiful. On this side, Thangol will go ahead and defend. He's getting attacked for 3. This attack is for 3. Okay, first shadow card, nothing. Second shadow card, nothing. Oh, third shadow card, nothing. Seriously? I'll take that. So that's 3 damage, 3 defense. He takes no damage. Before I attack that Saddle Slasher, I need to remember he had +1 attack because he was guarding Flinthoof. That means Denethor should have 1 point of damage. Now, we can attack him for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 damage. He has an X that equals 3, so 3 plus 3 health is 6. This guy is toast. What that means is we now will also control Flinthoof. I'm going to go ahead and immediately give that, I'm going to give it to Eorl because I want him to have the +1 attack. However, what that means is we have to immediately move from 1B to 2A because we have both of the mount objectives and more than 6 progress on here. And I'm not entirely sure I'm happy about that, but it is what it is. The war chief Thruk has arrived at the battle riding the mighty horse Ferlof and bellowing orders at his hordelings. "Rally," he cries, "tonight we feast on horse flesh." When revealed, if it's the combat phase, we're going to end it. So that means we can't even attack that Rain Ripper. Bummer. The first player adds Thruk to the staging area, guarding Ferlof. Each other player discards cards from the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded and puts that enemy into play engaged with them. Here we have Thruk. He is immune to player card effects, and he will be engaging the first player, which is the Rohirrim deck. At the beginning of the combat phase, if he's not guarding an objective, he makes an immediate attack against the engaged player. And then Felaroth here, when an enemy is guarding Felaroth, we deal 2 additional shadow cards to them. Yay! For the Gondorian deck, let's see what we find. We are going to have... Oh, yes, at least we got rid of that side quest. Oh, that's still not an enemy. Okay, we're going to have the Brittle Biter that's engaged with us. We can see here, Thruk cannot take damage unless there's at least 4 progress tokens on this stage. And the stage cannot be defeated unless the players control 3 mount objectives. So we control 2, not the third one. We need 8 progress, and we need to take Thruk out, but we can't do that until we have 4 on here. We'll go ahead and end the round. We get to place 2 progress because we have 2 mounts on the active location. So this Endless Grasslands, we have 2 progress on it, but we do not control 1 of the objectives. So that's going to increase both of our threats by 1, 34 and 36. Then we're going to end the round. We're going to move the first player back over to the Gondorian deck, increase our threats again, 37 and 35. And let's go ahead and draw our cards and generate resources. So our cards are here. We've got the Herald of Anorian, and we've got the Worthy of Remembrance. Going to the planning phase for our Gondorian deck, I think because we've got Thruk on us who attacks us for 5, we're going to go ahead and put out our Ancestral Armor. This is going to cost us 4 resources. We're going to do 2 from here and 2 from here, so we'll place 1 back. But that way, we now have +2 defense. So we have 5 defense with 5 health. Our Rohirrim deck, I think we can finally play Firefoot. This is going to give +2 attack to Eorl, and he's got the +1 from, which one is that? That's Flinthoof? Yeah. So he's going to have +3 attack normally, +5 attack if a character leaves play, which a character leaves play pretty much all the time. So I will take that. We'll then go ahead and move to questing. We'll send Ingold for a total of 3 on this side. Thingol for 6. Then we've got Lothril for 10. And we'll add the Escort for a total of 14. We only have 1 threat in the staging area, so I feel like that's pretty good. Okay, we've got the Humpback Downs. That's going to add 2. And we've got the Wild Country. Golly, it's going to doom to 1. We're going to 36 for our Rohirrim deck and 38 for our Gondorian deck. The nice thing is we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 threat in the staging area. We quested for 14, so that's 10 progress. We'll place 4 on here, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means we get to place 6 on here. That means we have not progressed all the way through, but it does mean we can damage Thruk, which is what we wanted. We also now have progressed all the way through a vast location. We can place progress on this location. I'm going to choose this one equal to the amount of mounts that we control. We control 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 is enough. We're also going to get rid of the Wild Country in the staging area. Oh, that's awesome. We'll then discard Escort from Edoras from play. We will then use Gambling to put it back into our hand. We'll then use the Horn here to go ahead and draw 1 card. And we've got the Ride to Ruin. And then we will exhaust the Light-Mounted Steed to ready Thingol. Thingol then will use his ability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 cards here. We can put one of these into play. Ooh, let's put Grimbold out into play exhausted. I like Grimbold. And let's go ahead and exhaust Morrowind Steel Sheen, and we're going to heal 2 points of damage on our Gondorian friends. Let's go ahead and do Denethor just because we need to make sure our defenders stay alive. I do want to mention I accidentally placed one additional progress on the main quest. I believe I should only have 6 on there instead of 7. So I have 6 on there. I need 2 more to complete it, plus get rid of Thruck. All right, now we need to travel. We can travel to either one of these. We might as well do the Humpback Downs because it's 2 threat. It is vast, so we're going to exhaust. We have to exhaust 2 mounts. We'll exhaust Brightmane and Armored Destrier. We'll move to that combat phase. Thruck here would normally attack unless he has an objective, which he does. He's going to gain 3 shadow cards. Ooh. Then we have our Brittle Biter here. He's going to gain 1 shadow card. And then our Rain Ripper here is also going to gain 3 shadow cards. All those shadow cards are brutal. Let's start out with defending with Denethor here. He's going to defend against Thruck. Thruck is attacking for a total of 5. He has 5 defense. We've got raise your threat by 1 for each objective you control. We don't control any over here. Ha! Our next one, oh no, attacking enemy gets +1 for each mount objective the players control. So his attack is 7. So right now he's dealing 2 points of damage. And then our third one is nothing. Okay, 2 points of damage to Denethor. However, we're not done. We still have this Bridle Biter. We're going to have to go undefended with this attack. Well, I guess I could use one of my allies, but I only have 2 allies. I need more allies out. I'm going undefended. If the active location is vast, it is discard 1 attachment from the defending character. Ha! Take that. You can't do anything when I don't defend with a character. So he's going to deal 2 damage. Let's put both on Boromir. Oh boy. At least we only have 1 enemy on this side. We'll exhaust Thangel to defend. His defense is 3. Let's go ahead and draw our cards here. Our first one, he's attacking for 3. So his first one is put the Bridle Biter into play, engage with you, and deal it a shadow card. Really? Okay, so we're going to give him a shadow card. Our second one is if you control a mount objective, either attach it to the attacking enemy as a guarded objective or discard the defending character after this attack resolves. No, we're going to lose one. We're going to lose the one that's on LOTR. That is Brightmane. We're going to put Brightmane onto him. Holy moly. And we'll go ahead and grab our third one. And we have another Bridle Biter. That's going to be put into play. And a shadow card. Let's see. I have 1 card left in the deck. So we'll put that on him. That does mean, though, he only attacks for 3. So there's no damage. However, now we've got to deal with 2 more enemies. We do have Hama here ready. I probably could have quested with him, but I didn't. I'm going to exhaust him regularly. He has 2 defense and 2 health. He's attacking for 2. If the active location is vast, the attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. Yeah, it's vast. I have no more cards, so I'm just going to go undefended on this attack, and I'm going to do 2 damage to Eorl. Eorl is pretty pissed right now, but 2 damage, we'll take it. I now have to decide if I want to go undefended with this other attack, or you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go undefended. I don't want to lose anybody, so I'm going to go undefended. If the active location is vast, discard 1 attachment from the defending character. Beautiful. We don't have any of those, but we are going to take 2 damage. I'm going to put those 2 on LOTR. LOTR now only has 1 health remaining. Now we can attack back, but we don't have enough to do much damage to Thruck on our Gondorian side. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to get my threat to 40. I think I'm at 38. Yeah, it'll be at 40 next time. Then Angbor will be much better. But so we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attack. The 3 plus 2 is 5. We can take out the 1 Brittle Biter that's on us. As much as I want to get this Rain Ripper out of here, what I can do is I can actually use Firefoot. I haven't used Firefoot before. It says here, after the attached hero attacks alone, exhaust Firefoot to choose a non-unique enemy engaged with you. Excess damage dealt by this attack is assigned to the chosen enemy. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this Bridle Biter, and I'm going to attack this one. I'm attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 plus 2 is 5. I have 3 damage left over. That'll be enough to take both of these guys out, which is awesome. I want them out of here. But now the Rain Ripper, who still has our objective, which we'll have to get, is still engaged with us. And we're going to have Thruck with us next time. Ah, bummer. At the end of the round, we control 1 objective, so we get to place 1 progress on the current location, or active location. We're then going to have to increase our threats by 2, plus 1, because we have 2 objectives we don't control. So that means we're at 41 for our Gondorian deck and 39 for our Rohirrim deck. Holy moly. We'll generate resources. We'll move our first player over to our Rohirrim deck, and that means Thruck's going to be over there. We've generated resources. Let's go ahead and draw cards. We have another sneak attack and Eomund. Oh, Eomund, what a great card. The reason I had to replay is I played him wrong. So hopefully this time I'll play him right. For our Rohirrim deck, I think the only card we are going to play is Eomund. We're going to put him out. He has, after Eomund leaves play, ready all Rohirrim characters in play. That's why I want him out. We'll spend or use these 3 resources to do that. For our Gondorian deck this round, I think we're going to start off with the Veteran of Osgiliath. He's now going to be a +1 willpower, +1 attack, and +1 defense because our threat is 40 or higher. That costs 3 resources from Boromir. We're then going to, do I increase threat? No, we'll use Ingold's 1 resource here so that we can draw a card because our threat's getting high. Ooh, we have our Envoy. Okay, should we do it? Should we do it, you guys? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to play the Herald of Anorian. Then we're going to put him out. That costs 2 resources. Then we're going to give him the Doomed 2 keyword. That means we're going to go up to 43 threat, and our Rohirrim deck is going to go up to 41 threat, and we're going to be able to play a 2-cost ally from our hand for free, or our teammates, but we're going to go ahead and put out another Envoy. I'm looking to try and build my army as quickly as possible here. I'm then going to put this 1 resource onto Boromir from putting out the Envoy of Pelegrir. We only have 2 threat in the staging area, so I think I'm going to do for questing this round. We've got 3 here, plus another 4, so that's a total of 7. Then let's send Theoden for a total of 9. Then we have 10, 11, 12. We can add him without exhausting him because we're at 40 threat. So that's 13, 14. And definitely our Herald for 15. So 15 to 2. And before I forget, we're going to add 4 to that because I cannot believe I was not thinking of using Lothrill's ability. So that's 19 to 2. Let's now draw our 2 cards. So our first one is the Spoiled Pasture. X is our threat, which is equal to 2 plus 2 for each mount objective. So we actually only control 1 mount objective right now. So that's going to add 4 threat to the staging area. But that location can get bad when we control all 3. Holy moly. Our second one we have, oh no. Each player who controls more than 2 attachments, must discard 1. We're getting rid of that. I'm not going to deal with that. I've been holding on to this Test of Will. Let's use the Test of Will. Lothriel has 1 resource. That's not happening. We quested for a total of 19, minus 6 here. That means we placed 13 progress. We'll place 6 on here. That will take care of the wild country. We will then have enough on here to actually go to quest card 3. But of course we haven't taken out Thruck yet. We control a total of 4 mounts. So unfortunately with that 4 plus 1 on here means we only get to place a total of 5 progress on this location. So we cannot get rid of it. Bummer. We will then have to discard the escort from Edoras, but I just exhausted Gambling, so we can put this into our hand. That means we get to draw 1 card because of our horn. So let's go ahead and draw our 1 card, and we have the Rittermark Knight. Then we'll go ahead and exhaust our Light-Footed Steed to ready Thengel. We'll also use Thengel's ability, so we can look at our top 5 cards, and we can put one out into play. Let's put out the Westfold Lancer. Heck yeah, that'll be good. And then I think we are definitely going to exhaust Morwen Steelsheen so we can go ahead and heal someone by 2. Let's keep Denethor alive, shall we? So we'll heal 2 on Denethor. With our 2 locations out in the staging area, I think we've got to keep going to the Humpback Downs. We'll just deal with the threat. We're doing okay threat-wise, so we'll go here and exhaust 2 mounts. We'll exhaust Firefoot and the Armored Destrier. We'll then move to the combat phase, dropping a total of 6 shadow cards on our enemies here. Oh boy. Okay, we can't do anything about Thruck, so let's go ahead and defend against him first. We're going to defend with Thengel. It does mean he's likely going to take some damage. Let's go ahead and draw all 3 of these, you guys. 3 of them. Okay, first one, nothing. Beautiful. Second one, not nothing. Attacking enemy gets +1 for each mount objective the players control. Mount objective, we control 1, so his attack is 6. So that's going to do... that's going to do 3 points of damage right now to Thengel. Oh my gosh, if we get 1 more here. Raise your threat by 1 for each objective that you control. Okay, that's only going to add up to 42 for the Rohirrim deck. So he's attacking for 6. Thengel has 3 defense. That means we're placing 3 damage on him. Oh boy. Now I think it's time to play the Word of Remembrance card here. We can discard a Rohan ally you control to choose an enemy. Deal 2 damage to that enemy, or 4 if that ally is unique. We are going to say bye to Theodwyn. We want to deal 4 damage. I like Theodwyn, but I think this is a great way to be remembered. You see these 3 shadow cards? We're not even going to have to worry about them, because this guy's got 4 health, and he just got taken out by Theodwyn. Theodwyn just ran in there, took him out, and that means we now can control Brightmane. And I'm actually going to give that now to our Rohirrim, or our Gondorian deck, so we each have 1 mount objective. I've placed the mount objective on Ingold, and now Ingold has +1 willpower. Now it's the question of, can we take out Thruk? And I think we can. We have a total attack from Eomer, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We add 1 from Grimbold, that's 9. We add 1 from Ailment, that's 10. And we add 2 more from Hama, 11, 12. That's 12, you guys. 8 plus 4 is 12. Done. That means we can gain Felaroth. I'll go ahead and put that onto Lothriel right here. Now we need to move to quest card 3 because we have 8 progress on here and we control all 3 mount objectives. The full might of the Orc host has answered Thruk's rallying cry. You must unite yourselves for a final charge to scatter them into the hills. When revealed, if it is the combat phase, which it is, and the phase, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Search the victory display for Thruk and add him to the staging area. Each player chooses 2 enemies from the set-aside Orc host encounter cards and put these enemies into play, engage with them. One of these enemies put into play must be the Orc battalion. You know what this means? Thruk now is going to be engaged with our Rohirrim deck. He's then going to move over to the Gondorian deck for the next turn. And now that he's not controlling, or he does not have an objective, he's going to attack twice. We just have to remember that. Our Gondorian deck is going to go ahead and choose these 2. He's going to have the Orc Battalion. Look at this Orc Battalion. Attacks for 7, 3 armor, 7 health, 3 threat. The Orc Battalion cannot take combat damage while being attacked by fewer than 3 characters. After a character is declared as an attacker against him, deal 1 damage to that character. So what happens is, if I attack him and my character only has 1 health, they're going to die before they even do damage to him. And then over here we've got the Servant of the Eye, doomed 1. So we're both going to increase our threats by 1 right now. We've got 43 for our Rohirrim deck and 44 for our Gondorian deck. When the Servant of the Eye attacks you, raise your threat by 1. But he's only at 2-3 at least. The 2 enemies that our Rohirrim deck is going to grab are the Orcish Horse Butchers. When they deal damage to a character, either discard an attachment from that character or raise the engaged player's threat by 1. And we've got 2 of those. We have here, skip the staging step. If the encounter deck is ever empty, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. When an enemy makes an attack, deal an additional shadow card, because why not? If a mount objective is attached to an enemy, the players lose the game. If there are no enemies in play, the players win the game. So I just have to defeat 5 enemies, plus any of those brittle biters that potentially could show up. Let's go ahead and end the round. We'll increase our threats only by 1 this time because we control all 3 of the mount objectives. That also means that this location is going to leave play, so we get to place progress on the active location and quest. Of course, the quest card, the progress on there doesn't matter. But at least we got rid of this. The only thing now that's in our staging area that we have to deal with is our spoiled pasture. We just need to make sure that we quest for 8 or more, and that staging step is when we reveal new cards into the staging area, so we're not going to have that, so that's pretty nice. Let's move our first player over to our Gondorian deck, and let's go ahead and draw cards. We have the Soldier of Gondor and Worthy of Remembrance. To start off with our Gondorian deck, I think the first thing we're going to do is put our Soldier of Gondor out into play. And because we have more than 40 threat, we get to look at our top 5 cards of our deck and see if there's any allies that are Gondorian and put them into our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Let's see. We have 2 allies. We'll put both of these into our hand. Then let's go ahead and pay for the Ramas Sentry. We're going to spend 2 from here, so we have 1 of each. That means we can cancel a point of damage, potentially because of the Ramas Sentry. And I think that might be it. Oh wait, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go ahead and play this sneak attack. Put one ally into play from your hand. At the end of the phase, if the ally is still in play, put it back into your hand. I'm going to go ahead and put Gandalf into play. And it states here that after he enters play, I can draw 3 cards, deal 4 damage to an enemy in play, or reduce your threat by 5. Well, I'm going to deal 4 damage. You better believe I'm going to hit that Orc Battalion. 3 plus 1, because it cannot be dealt combat damage. This is not combat damage, that's direct damage. Now, at the end of the phase, we're going to have to put Gandalf right back into our hand, but that's fine. I've got another sneaky way of getting him in. I don't think I'm going to play anything on the Rohirrim deck side. All I'm going to do is quest now. So we're going to go ahead and quest for 3 from LOTR. We're going to add another 4 here from the Escort. So that's a total of 7. And we just need 1 more. Let's go ahead and add Morwen Steelsheen for 8-9. We'll do none from the Gondorian side. We only have 8 threat in the staging area. We quested for 9, so we're okay. And you know what, you guys? After a player loses control of a mount, did I control a mount? I don't remember. So if I missed that, I apologize. Hopefully no one gets to 49 threat. If we get to 49 threat, it won't matter. Okay, so we quested successfully. Since we quested successfully, I'll take that Escort from Edoras that I had over here. I'm going to go ahead and discard him. I'm not going to exhaust gambling to put it back in my hand. I don't need that questing. What I really want is to be able to draw a card. So let's go ahead and draw a card. Oh my gosh, we got an Escort. That's hilarious. We will use Thangol's ability, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to grab 5 cards. And let's see. Oh, let's put the Deeping Bowman into play exhausted. Then we might as well travel here. There's no reason not to, and it gets the 8 threat out of the staging area, so if we have to keep going another round, which I'm hoping we won't, but if we do, then we don't have to quest for anything, because there'll be nothing in the staging area. Now let's go ahead and move into the combat phase, and the first thing that's going to happen is Thruk here is going to attack for 5 damage. We'll go ahead and exhaust Denethor, and then use his Armored Destrier to ready, so he's ready. He's getting attacked for 5. If the active location is vast, it's not. Beautiful. And nothing, so 5 damage, no problem. Okay, now I'm going to deal out the shadow cards for everyone. Just so you can see, because it is somewhat ridiculous, we've got 5 enemies, 2 shadow cards each. All right, you ready for some shenanigans? Let's shenanigan it. Our first shenanigans we're going to play is another sneak attack. I cannot believe this. We're going to use Ingol's resource. That is going to allow us to put Gandalf into play again during the combat phase. And hey, we're going to deal 4 damage to an enemy. And you know what that enemy is going to be? That's going to be the Orc Battalion. So essentially, Gandalf himself was able to distract that entire Orc Battalion, and they went chasing after him instead of our Gondorians and Rohirrim. How awesome is that? Oh, and by the way, he's out and ready to help us too at the same time. So now let's go ahead and exhaust Denethor to defend against Thruk a second time. Okay, Thruk is attacking for 5. We have the attacking enemy gets +1 for each objective the players control. So he's attacking for 8. Ow. And raise your threat by 1 for each objective mount you control. They control 1. Oh, okay, so they're going to increase their threat by 1. They'll go to 46 threat. Then being attacked by 8, we have 3, 4, 5. We're going to take 3 damage. We're almost dead. We have 2 health left. And of course, Thruk is still sitting out here. We'll then go ahead and exhaust Ingold for the second attack, and that's going to be from this Servant of the Eye. Now, when he attacks, he's going to add or increase our threat by 1, so I'm going to do it now. We're at 47. If, you guys, I get to 49, oh man, and I cheated, I feel so bad. But let's see. Okay, nothing. And nothing. Beautiful. Okay, so we're good to go. He dealt 3 damage. He has 2 defense. He can take 1 point of damage. Take that. We've got 2 enemies here on the Rohirrim side. What do you guys say we take care of one? We're going to use this, and we're going to discard ailment. That means every Rohirrim is going to be ready, and we're going to deal 4 damage to one of these enemies. Now this one has 4 health. Done. See ya, man. Then this second enemy, we'll go ahead and bring Hama over here. We will exhaust him. He has 2 defense. He's getting attacked for 4. Let's see. Discard 1 random card from your hand. So I'll discard, oh man, our Rittermark Knight. And then our second one here is nothing. And he deals 4 damage. That will take out Hama. Hama's gone. And then it says here, when he deals damage, either discard an attachment from that character or raise the player's threat by 1. We'll go from 44 up to 45. Now it's time to kill the remaining 3 enemies. Let's go ahead and exhaust Gandalf and the Herald, who gets +1 attack thanks to Boromir. So that's 4 + 1, which is 5. That's exactly what we need to take this guy out. We then need 12 damage to take out Thruk. Well, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20, Thruk is done. And then Eomer over here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 4 + 3 is 7. This guy is gone. We just won the game. The heroes and their many allies made their final charge against the orcs, their steeds mighty and noble and valorous, trampling their former captors. Shattered and broken, the orcish mob fled east, and soon they were driven from sight. Thanks, Gandalf. This is not the last we will see of that loathsome band, says Gelmod. We should press onward. Not alone, said Queen Morwen, not without the might of Rohan at our backs. We must ride to the city of Eldberg. There we can warn Eomund. Eomund, help us out. He is the marshal of the East Mark, advised by the wise and patient Eadwulf. Together they will bring their forces to bear against the Horde. Perhaps then we can uncover the truth behind the traitors who surrendered the beacon at Eorl, the sigil of the red field and white stallion. The heroes and their companions were greeted well in Eldberg, where they feasted and slept for the first time in what felt like years. It was there they met Eadwulf, one of the most powerful nobles in Rohan and chief advisor to the young Marshal Eomund. Your warnings are dire, said Ealdwulf, sipping wine from a golden goblet. The fire crackled in his feasting hall as the heroes and their companions conferred, and they are appreciated. The Marshal will hear of this immediately, and my Ered will ride at first dawn to Anduin. They will not rest until they have avenged the sullying of our land. It is this other matter which concerns me, he said, traitors amongst us. I have some thoughts on that matter, for the white horse on a red field is no strange symbol to the men of Eldberg. But for tonight, let us take stock and consider our options. In the morning, I shall tell you all I know. Oh, now we have to wait! Well, I don't know about you guys, but that was a blast. Oh my gosh, third time playing it, and I still had fun with this quest. These quests are super good. You can totally tell they're made by fans because they're challenging, but the shadow cards aren't too terrible. The treacheries are bad, but they're not, hey, you only have one objective, you're going to discard all of them. It's if you have more than 2, you discard 1. If you have more than 5, you discard 2. It's just, I feel like it's designed very, very well. I'm really excited for these 6 adventure packs. And seeing these 2 new heroes was super fun. So I think the next time we play, which will be the first adventure pack when that comes out, I'll see if we can make some different decks with some of the other new heroes and other player cards. Thank you all so much for watching. I don't know about you, but I was super bummed when I saw the live stream that was just about a week or so ago, hoping that there was going to be something new. But you know what? We have a long extended party, so really, I feel like I'm still getting new stuff anyways. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you at the next stop.